religion has increased over the past 5 years, going from 15.3% to 19.6%, as stated by the Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life Research Center. That is almost 1 in 5 adults that aren't religious. Good afternoon, fellow classmates and Mr. Etikin. Though my opponents may feel that nothing is wrong, so why change it, that fact alone proves for the need of change with our government, a government made by the people for the people, a government that cannot have religious references with its policies and procedures that do not represent all of the people. My partner Matt and I believe that with this growing number of atheists and the many different religious beliefs in our country, the government cannot have any religious ties, for it goes against the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment, which states Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Before I go any further, I just want to make it clear that we both stand up here not wanting to attack anyone's religious or political beliefs, just that those two should remain separate, as this country originally intended to do. With that said, we have devised a plan for these two to remain separate. First off, we will remove the word God from the Pledge of Allegiance and motto. In 1954, the phrase "under God" was added to the pledge by a legislation that was created by Charles G. Oakman, a congressman who had ties with Presbyterian organizations. Just how the phrase was incorporated, it will be removed. A small committee will be formed to write up a bill that repeals the original one, and removes the phrase "under God" and goes back to the pledge that was used pre-1954. When Eisenhower signed the bill into law, he stated, "From this day forward, the millions of our school children will daily proclaim in every city and town, every village and rural schoolhouse, the dedication of our nation and our people to the Almighty." However, not everyone believes in this Almighty, as well as it favors the Christian faith and their God, which goes against the Establishment Clause. Our current motto is "In God We Trust," which once again was established by a law signed by President Eisenhower. At the time, not many people thought it was controversial because given the pressures of the Cold War era. The small committee will create another law making our first unofficial motto, "E pluribus unum," our official one, getting rid of "In God We Trust." Now here comes the difficult part. "In God We Trust" is also inscribed and printed on our money, as Samantha has stated. And now we cannot have everyone just trade in their money. Instead, the mints will be forced to change, and the new money printed will no longer have the motto "In God We Trust" on it, and then be put into circulation. The negative may believe that this change may take a while to be noticed and costly. However, the Federal Bureau of Engraving and Printing states 95% of the notes printed each year used to replace notes already in or taken out of circulation. Changes have been made to the money a couple of times, usually to make it harder to counterfeit, and it does not take a long time for the new money to become noticed. This small committee will also regulate religious showings on government-mandated property. For example, if a public property has a nativity scene on it, that local government will be fined. This also includes any public schools, so no public schools can have any Christmas decorations or Hanukkah or any holidays of that sort. As well, this relates to our courts. There will be no more swearing on the Bible. Though people in court do have the option to swear on their own religious texts, this religion should not be brought into the court scene in the first place. Instead, each court will be forced to have people swear or affirm on the Constitution and that alone. This goes for the President's inauguration as well. Finally, a small committee will regulate legislation proposed by congressmen that have religious references. This means if someone were to bring up a bill that makes reference to the Bible or their religious beliefs, the committee will mark it as religiously derived. Since they cannot stop people from making opinions, since that goes against the First Amendment as well, they can simply just mark it. So it is to bring notice to other congressmen and people. President Obama has stated, "I may be opposed to abortion for religious reasons, but if I seek to pass a law banning the practice, I cannot simply point to the teachings of my church or revoke God's will. I have to explain why abortion violates some principle that is accessible to the people of all faiths, including those with no faith at all. This is a belief that should be followed by all government officials. Under our plan, the federal government will also make any moral issues that do not have any facts behind them be open to the people so they can make their own choice. For example, gay marriage will become legal, because the government cannot inflict their personal beliefs onto the people only if it affected their safety or well-being. However, I will not go deeper into that topic, for it is a whole other debate in itself. In conclusion, this plan will no longer have government inhibit the religious beliefs or a particular religion's beliefs onto the people, and no longer going against the First Amendment, and further separating the church and state the way it was supposed to be. Thank you, and vote affirmative.